searching for you. I'm still searching for you. From dirt to the sky, I'm still searching for you. 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 I'm still from dirt to the sky. I'm still searching for you.
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
You disgust me.
Who gives a shit?
Go on.
I made it the fuck up.
I did. I did. I did. I did. I did. It's glorious. And I run. Just for fun, 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 just for fun,
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
just for fun, 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 just for fun.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is your t-shirted historian who needs more caffeine. And I got Hunter.
Hello, everybody.
How you
I'm
doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I've been trying to think about stuff that's not been the same stuff that we've been talking about, like on the last week that I've been seeing on X. But it's like I just can't seem to find anything because I don't want to bring the show down with just the same recycled crap that everyone's been talking about with Wonderful and all that. So I figured try to find something else. But
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like once it starts to reach, public consciousness, it becomes news, and not all news is good news, and not all news is necessarily bad news. It's just, the whole idea is kind of like maybe you don't watch any of the big tubers that we do, so this may be the only way that you find out about something.
that is true. That makes sense. I just didn't want to bring it down or be the only thing I would have to contribute to be like, oh, let's talk more about Wonderful that everyone else has been talking about for like almost the last 2 weeks now, I think.
Well, I mean, I think he's finally got himself back on track. I mean, I noticed he's changed his X handle back to Wonderfilled. So
I wouldn't go so far to say that. I did listen to the interview he did with Nerd Cognito. It was just him and Ryan one-on-one. And he kind of still stayed on track with a lot of the stuff he said. He didn't really he wasn't really taking back anything. He said he was still kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? He was still kind of sticking by it, basically, I guess is the one way to put it.
Well, I mean, that's on him, because it's Daniel had a really good video that he put out today over on Driving with Dragons, and it's kind of like he said, it's the folks that he's trying to court at this time are not the people who supported him in the beginning. And part of that is because, you know, he had a Gygax attached to it, and those people hate Gygax. And I guess by extension, they hate Jim Ward, too.
I wish
I don't know why.
Grim Jim was here, because I would love to hear his thoughts about this, being that he went through like the exact similar BS at one point in his time too, when he was making games and all that. I would love to hear kind of just his perspective on it.
Yeah. I went through it, too. Because something similar happened to me. But
I don't think I heard your story. I don't think I've ever heard that one.
yeah. Well, it was many years ago, actually. I worked on a book with another guy, and he happened to title it something that was really offensive.
That doesn't narrow it down much.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to keep it general so I don't just dox myself, bro.
Oh, that's fair.
But yeah, he didn't consult me before he pulled the title out and published the book. And when he did, it caused a huge stink, like you wouldn't believe, because everybody came out of the woodwork, including Jason Bullman, to decry us and tell us what scumbags we were and all this other stuff. And I'm just kind of like, you know.
I feel like I'm supposed to know who Jason Bullman is, but I can't figure out for the life of me why that name sounds familiar.
He's the man behind Pathfinder.
Ah, okay.
He's the guy behind Paizo Publishing. And yeah, even he came out to spit on us. And so anyway, you know, it's like I told I told the other guy who worked on the book. I said, look, man, it's not just your name that's on this book. It's my name too. I said, and if this stink stays on my name, it could affect, my future employment opportunities and things. Because at the time I was going back through college, trying to finish out a degree and, actually try to get into something. And yeah, this was just really bad timing. So I told him, you just pull the book. I said, pull the book, take all the material out of it. In 2 or 3 years, when this blows over, you can put all that material into another book, and hopefully this time you'll either consult me about the title or you'll just title it something else that's not just so incredibly in-your-face offensive. So he agreed, and he pulled it down, and, the stink slowly went away. I think there's still a few people who might remember it if I brought it up, but for the most part, it's mostly forgotten, but not entirely. There's still people out there who remember. James Radji remembered. And, he knows who I am. But, we got canceled. I mean, literally, we had people screaming for our blood, wanting them to take it down off of DTRPG and all this other stuff. And, I got to give my publisher some balls on this, but he didn't back down because he thought it was a good work. And, the deal is, the material inside wasn't representative of what the title was. People kept equating the title as being the thing that your characters are supposed to be doing, which is offensive. And it's like, no, you're fighting. You're fighting against this. Can you
just message me the title? So wait, I'll make sure not to say it out loud. But I just want to know exactly what title this was that was put in this book. Now it was probably before my time, so I probably won't recognize it. But now I'm curious to know.
Yeah, I doubt you'll even know what it is. But I'll message you on X a little bit later.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
it was probably before I got into the hobby, because again, I didn't really get started until 2019. So it was probably before I even joined.
Oh yeah, this is way before your time. As was what happened to Grimm. But the deal is, it's like, yeah, I've been canceled too. The only difference is I didn't have as big of a name as he does, or did even back then. Because, Grim Jim, was he was kind of a bigger deal back then than I was, because he'd written for Mongoose, and so he was kind of a known quantity. And
he did a few things for with WotC too, didn't he? As well, on top of that,
he did a few things with WotC, and on top of all that, what got him in hot water was something similar to what happened to me. He brought out a game. He had a pithy name attached to it. People didn't think it was funny, went immediately on rage mode over the name. I mean, see how stupid if that sounds to you.
I mean,
it's like,
knowing Grim Jim, I would expect some sort of like tongue-in-cheek or innuendo title for one of his books. I don't think he would be outright just adult-like with a title, but it would definitely be kind of like tongue-in-cheek or very much innuendo-like. But I mean, if I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, that's Grim Jim for you. I wouldn't be mad about it. It would be like, yeah, that's on par for him.
Yeah, I mean, because the game that he brought out was Hentacle, which is about hentai tentacles, of course, and it was tongue in cheek. It wasn't meant to be anything serious or anything. It was just kind of a goofy joke thing, like based on how the Japanese and their anime tentacles and all that stuff. But people got offended by that, and then what compounded it is the fact that later on he came out with an article that was titled "In Defense of Ape." Yeah, which it wasn't actually in defense of it. He was. I'd have to let you talk to him about that one, but I haven't read the article, but he's explained it to me a few times. I can't remember anymore, but that kind of nailed his coffin shut and got him, got him a lot of hate. And, it's just people see titles, and rather than invest in reading what the material is about or trying to learn what it's about or anything like that, they just immediately go off on a knee-jerk reaction and just freak out because of it. It's like, I guess if I brought out a supplement that was called I don't know, something like I don't even know what I could say, like fecal fuckers or something,
I mean, it's funny that the stuff that you guys
lost their shit over it, I
think it's funny that the stuff you guys probably get canceled before is now almost like perfectly acceptable material now in most of our RPGs. I mean, we got Kinks and Cantrips, which is a 5e supplement. There's the you all remember when I started talking about when I share about the Vor series with you guys on here when I was first interacting with y'all. They have those books. That's literally kink right there. I mean, I scour through Draft RPG. You'll find all sorts of stuff like that's kinkers like that related on there now.
That's the funny part is like, I still think it probably would have been offensive even to this day, but I don't know. I mean, seeing what the rest of our series looked like and what it was about, it's kind of like, if you were invested in the series, you already knew what it was like and what it was about and how hardcore it was. So us coming out with a book with that kind of a title is kind of like, maybe it's not cool, but it's kind of like you could see us doing it. I mean, okay. I mean, like look at Raji with Lamentations of the Flame Princess. He brought out a book called Fish Fuckers. I mean, literally. He brought out a book with the title World of Shit.
And isn't there one, I think it's Vaginas or Magic?
Yeah. And Don't Fuck the Priest. But you know what? People don't come after him. Well, I guess they kind of do, but it's kind of like, it's kind of the case of he just eats up the free press, and you know what you're getting into when you buy Lamentations of the Flame Princess book, if you have already invested in the system. Especially if you have the core book. If you have the core book has all kinds of elements of violence and, everything else in it. So it's kind of like, okay, I know what I'm getting into. If I buy more of this stuff, I'm choosing to, engross myself in this kind of material. So I should be prepared for this.
And having edgy or explicit material like that for a game is not always a bad thing. Because some of that stuff, like I've seen some of the work that James Raggi made. Like, because despite my issue I have with him, I have the free no art version of the main core rulebook. I was planning to get the actual art book version at one point, and I ended up getting I found someone and they gave me a PDF of Blood and the Chocolate when that whole stake up around that module started up by a YouTuber. I think it was like a month or two ago.
No, it wasn't a month or two ago. It's actually been the Blood and Chocolate thing's been around for a while.
Well, I know that, but it was only recently that someone decided to bring back up everything that was going on around it. That's what brought to my attention. So while the incident that surrounded Blood and the Chocolate, yeah, that happened like a few years ago. It only recently came to my attention within like the last few months.
Yeah, I'm proud to actually own an original copy of Blood and the Chocolate. So, no matter what happens, it's like, when that thing goes out of print, I have one.
Mm-hmm. I think it already is out of print. Like, you can't even, like, there's still like links to the old like drive-through RPG where you could purchase it, but it's not available if you click on the link.
I guess. I don't know. Because all I know is that the guy who wrote it doesn't want any further association with it, and he's embarrassed by it and all that kind of stuff. And I can kind of understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, I'm also just kind of like, well, there's a lot of people in the TTRPG industry who get kind of wishy-washy about stuff. We interviewed a guy like the first year I had this channel, and we supported his cyberpunk game that he was selling. And I thought we did a pretty good job with him. We didn't misrepresent him. We just interviewed him. We asked him questions. We hyped up his stuff. We told people where you could buy it and all that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 years later, he blocked me on X for I don't know what reason. But I thought, wow, that's kind of a low blow. And then a year ago, he contacted me and said, hey, I'd like you to take down my video, please. Where I did an interview. I don't go by that name anymore. And and I'm just kind of like, rather than argue with him, I was just kind of like, whatever, man. It's not like, people are just lining up to watch the video anyway. Because, it hadn't gotten views in forever. So I pulled it, and no big deal. Go on about your business. Whatever. But we're in strange times, man. You got people who are like converting and crossing lines, and they don't want to be associated with who they used to be, and all this kind of stuff. And one of the biggest names that's happened to is Janelle Jaquays, formerly, Paul Jaquays. And I'm not so much trying to dead name the person as just to make you understand that there was a time when that name was massive in the industry because, his dungeons were like a thing of beauty, and, that he did so much for it. And then he changed, and became Janelle Jaquays. That's how she passed.
Oh, you're talking about the Jaquain the dungeon.
Yeah, Jaquaysing the dungeon. Yeah, that's where that term came from.
Okay, yeah, it's like I've had a blip for a second there, and then all the stuff that when she did pass away, and all that when everyone talked about it just suddenly came back to me full. I was like, oh, okay, now I remember. Yeah,
Goodman Games actually has been reprinting a lot of her stuff. I think they just did the Maze of Thalamura or something. I forgot what it was. I was gonna buy it initially, and I had it on pre-order, but it was like $200, and well, I got to looking at my bank account and going, I can't afford it now. I could afford it back then when it was on pre-order, but now I'm hurting for money, so I had to cancel it, and I guess I'll just have to hope I can get it somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I got a new book in earlier today. It's a third-party book. They made it. It's called Atomic Shadows. It's a post-apocalyptic game using the Shadow Dark system. And it's
Oh
got
wow.
that. Yeah, it's got that. There's a second one out there. It's called Gamma Dark, I think. So it's kind of similar vein. So I don't know what the difference is between this one and that one. But this one has basically that Gamma World. It's basically, it feels like Gamma World mixed with Fallout because it has the your mutant types. Because you can be like mutant animal or mutant plants, pure strain human, and what was the other one? Yeah,
Probably a
mutated
robot.
human as well. So
Huh.
no, robot's not in here, surprisingly. So it's more
Oh,
like,
they'll probably release a supplement.
yeah, maybe. I'm sure there's a robot supplement out there somewhere. Probably could be.
I'm sure.
I was about to say could be in the Gamma Dark one because I think that one also has some space stuff tied into it as well, if I recall.
Oh yeah, if it's called Gamma Dark, I expect it to be kind of like Gamma World.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that's kind of cool that so many people are still supporting Shadow Dark, and I like it.
Yeah.
I sincerely wish that you know, that Kelsey could overtake Wizards of the Coast for the next big game. That would be really good on her, and that would be good on all the people who support her. There's a lot of people like friends of our channel, like Chubby Funster, who are making things for Shadow Dark. So it's kind of like, as goes one hot property, goes all the guys who are building stuff for it. Because as long as Shadow Dark is successful, then Chubby Funster and everybody else who's writing Shadow Dark stuff, you know, Victor Gorchev, they will be successful too, because people are always looking for new add-ons or extra things to add to their game.
Yep. Sorry, I spaced out for a second, but I was just thinking about because I backed Western Reaches. I'm getting the main two books for that, and they've been making good progress on that. She's been doing consistent updates, which I appreciate a lot because I ended up getting my Winter King pledge refunded because they just were not doing a good job of keeping us updated and getting the game done on time, in my opinion. So I ended up getting my money refunded back on that.
Shit, not auto banning everyone so you can do an online table flip. maybe you mean autobahning. Yes, we're going to drive on the highway, Germany.
It's like, are you hiding them in the cupboards or under the floorboards?
Uh-oh.
But no, did you actually see Chubby Funster made a post? I think it was either today or yesterday, talking about how he wants after his new I think it was Shadow City that he's working on. That's his vampire game he's working on. He's going to stop making Shadow Dark stuff for a bit because his opinion. He says, and I think I may agree with him a little bit on it, that the like Draft RPG especially is becoming very flooded with just Shadow Dark stuff alone.
Yeah, that's because everybody wants to basically. I hate to say the word. I hate to say riding the coattails. But like I said, it's like a big ship, and everybody is kind of like, you know, trying to get into the same water so they can catch the same fish. So,
and not to mention the third-party licensing for Shadow Dark is a lot much better, probably in comparison to the OGL by WotC.
Well, I mean, you know, you could always just do your own thing, and you know, I personally, if I was going to make stuff, I would either make it for Machinations of the Space Princess, because I know I already have Grimm's blessing to do it, or I would do it for the Without Number series of stuff, because frankly, I don't think Kevin Crawford really cares. It's kind of like, you know, he just puts the stuff out and you just enjoy it and do what you wish with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kelsey was also smart and offered a very generous third-party license. Yeah.
Yeah, the post-apocalyptic game I'm trying to work on currently is using the system it's based on. It's called Microlight 20, but the guy who made that system put it in Creative Commons. So basically, it's free access for anyone to basically use. And now his version did use the OGL license, but making a post-apocalyptic game, I don't think I would be touching anything that would be in an OGL license, that, to my knowledge.
Uh-huh.
So, but and like there's literally like a whole like micro like 20 compendium. Basically, it's like I don't even know how many hundreds of games that this one PDF file contains of people who just used his system to make like their own version of of his own game. Like there's like advanced, 3D6, modern day, sci-fi. It's so many different versions.
I've seen stuff like that before. And oh, look, we have a caster.
Hello.
Hello, like 30 minutes late almost, but that's okay.
I
You're here.
cast iron.
And we have a Daniel.
Yeah, I figured that there was a. You eventually look around and be like, man, there sure are not a lot of panelists here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to put the link in my main chat. I sent one out to Hunter, and then I didn't put one in my main chat. So I was kind of like, whoops. That's on me.
The main
Anyway.
chat get ones, and I'm so used to even getting the personalized invitation, and I didn't get either one of those today.
Yeah, well, you know. But I do have some news that's not gaming, Hunter, because we do talk about other things besides gaming.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, because we have, obviously we had a little bit of gaming news, but we also have some comic book news, and we have some anime news.
Oh,
I'm going to save the anime news for last.
And some music.
Oh, and we do have some toy news, too, but, so I'm kind of sad about this today. Those of y'all who are Marvel Comics fans, like myself, you probably, you know, if you're my age, you grew up reading Marvel Comics at a time when Big Jim Shooter was the editor-in-chief. And, I mean, he was called Big Jim because I think he was like 6'4", 6'5". But for a while there on comic books, he was the editor-in-chief at Marvel for a long time, and under his tenure, you know, we had some really great books coming out. You know, I've heard people say that he was a little hard to work with and stuff, but at the same time, you know, I really enjoyed the comic books at that time, so I have to figure if he's the editor-in-chief, it was because of him that the books were good. Apparently he also worked on DC as well. Mm-hmm. But he apparently passed away a day or two ago from esophageal cancer. He finally lost his battle with it, I think, and he was 73 years old. Yeah, he was editor-in-chief at Marvel from 1978 to 1987, so that was literally the entire period I was reading comic books all through that time. There we go, out of Das Wolfen.
Yep. Yeah, he's Jim Shooter's responsible for Secret Wars.
Yeah. In fact, I think if I remember right, a lot of people said that the Beyonder was based on Jim Shooter. Which he was kind of a striking looking dude.
He almost looks like the original actor for Superman.
Really? You think so?
I think so. I don't know why his name's escaping me. I own all the movies, but I cannot remember who the original actor for Superman
Christopher
was.
Reeve.
Yes, Christopher Reeve. That's who he kind of looks like.
Maybe.
I mean, could be just hair then. I don't know. But he looks like that to me. He's still a striking man.
I suppose so. But anyway, that's kind of a big loss for us in the comic book industry. I mean, you know, everybody has to go eventually, and obviously, you know, at his age, he wasn't really dealing with comic books anymore. I think he did briefly have his own comic book company. I believe it was Valiant that he was running for a while.
Oh yeah,
is that right? And did he did the New Universe? He did Starbrand on the New Universe, which I loved the New Universe growing up.
It was an interesting experiment that, I mean, ultimately and unfortunately failed in the end.
Mm-hmm. He tried a lot of new things that, I don't know, I guess it either didn't succeed or whatever, but
well, I mean, he did bring us characters like Dazzler.
I mean, you know, not everyone can be a winner, but
well, I mean, to this day, she's in the top 25 X-Men characters.
Yeah,
and that's something considering just how many hundreds of those there are. Which by the way, also started at Marvel when he was editor-in-chief.
I remember when Dazzler first came out and they started advertising her in the comic books. You had some of that great Bill Sienkiewicz art.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was one of the giants of comics. I mean, maybe he's not as big of a giant as Stan Lee or Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko, but all the guys who pioneered comics in one way or another, we're losing them, and it's kind of sad. I mean, I think the one that's going to hurt me the most is Larry Hama. Because I have almost every issue of G.I. Joe that was published until, I don't know, I guess 92. Then I kind of quit.
Well,
but
you know that I think it's about Image is still publishing, like they're still publishing the continuation of that timeline.
Yeah, I know. I can't afford comic books right now, though. I could barely afford, the stuff that I am getting already, and by the stuff I am getting, I mean I'm talking about like TV and video games and stuff. But
well, before we do jump off of comics, there was one other little piece of news I wanted to bring up because
okay.
I do still collect, and well, this one is a little bit of cross media that we can at least show off real quick.
Okay. Your microphone's popping, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Norfrika, Glorious Death. From Rippaverse.
Yes. So, for a little bit of context here, about 2 weeks ago, Eric July started showing off one of their new projects, Norfrika. And with it, they had put out a music video where himself and Dan Vask performed the single for it, which, by the way, it fucking rocks.
Yeah, it does. Ripa is a good singer, and Dan Vask has got so much talent. I'd love to get him on the show sometime, but I don't think he even knows my name.
And with that release, he made a promise to his audience. If this single could chart on Billboard within the first week, they would put out an entire album. Well, I think the audience has spoken. It hit number 7, and which means we're going to be getting the entire album now.
That's awesome. Look at what the power of fandom can do, man. This is pretty cool. This is another time I've seen the fandom really just elevate a property. I mean, people don't realize what the goodwill of the fans really means, because it's like, you remember, we had that horrible first run of what Sonic the Hedgehog was supposed to look like.
Oh, yeah.
And all the fan backlash ended up making it the Sonic it is and today, and now it's 3 successful Sonic films. It's just when we put our hearts to it and we really speak up and let people know, and the studios listen to us, we can make things happen. Problem is we have Joel.
What's up, fools?
Hey, glad to see you, bud.
Yeah, I just kind of randomly popped on Twitter.
Joel Sensei has arrived.
Awesome.
It's good to see everybody. What are we talking about today?
I just talked about the death of Jim Shooter, and
yeah, God, that one hurts, dude. The Silver Age is like such an important point in comics, and like that guy's art was it's iconic and it's gorgeous, and like his character work was like it set the foundations for so many of the characters we love.
Well, actually, Jim Shooter was an editor.
The edit? Is that what he did?
He was an editor-in-chief. No, he was an editor-in-chief.
Oh, I got the wrong guy then. Still,
you do.
Heartbreaking.
It is. I mean, because that was like some of the golden age of comic books for me, because he was in Marvel all the way up to 1987, so I was still pretty hot and heavy in comic books at that point.
I was 1 year old back then. Good times.
Oh my gosh, I was in high school.
You know, the thing is, with the comic book industry like it is, like there is a little bit of a mini renaissance going on even to this day. Marvel and DC may be, on the rocks, but there has been a ton of fantastic, just comic stuff that isn't from the big two. And even then, like DC does have some good stuff. I cannot recommend Aquaman enough. Transformers is like doing gangbusters right now. To the point where it's on like its 12th reprint of issue 1.
Really?
And not only that, but also this past week we got news that Robert Kirkman is going to be taking over the series.
Which one?
Robert Kirkman.
No, I know who Robert Kirkman is because he did The Walking Dead. But what are you saying? He's taking over for Transformers?
Yes, with issue 25, which should be out next month, I believe.
Well, that's going to be a big thing for you. It's kind of funny you would bring up Kirkman.
And with that as well, there's a rumor going about that there might be an animated series tying into it as well. And given all the stuff with Invincible and how like gangbusters his name is right now, this is a mark of success, which I do think is kind of an interesting timing for that, given all the stuff going on with Paramount right now, with them trying to be sold off and trying to up their value.
I don't think Kirkman's name ever stopped being hot because it started being. I mean, I didn't hear about Kirkman until The Walking Dead.
And with all this Transformers talk, apparently also Michael Bay is coming back.
We knew about that, yeah.
Less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
Hey, poo on his name all you want, but tell me we didn't. Those movies are not preferable to the slop we're getting today.
Yeah, I really needed to see Devastator's balls.
And you laughed at it.
I mean, I was kind of like...
I am directly underneath the enemy's scrotum.
There was absolutely nothing wrong with the first 3 Michael Bay Transformers movies. It did get out of hand when it started going on after that.
The first one was really fun. The other 2 were just kind of like, okay.
It's been a hot minute since I saw those. They might actually be brilliant. I'll have to rewatch them. I remember liking the first one quite a bit.
They were not. That's not the word I would use. Brilliant is not the word I would use.
Well, a rewatch will tell, I suppose.
And let's be perfectly honest, teenage boys were not going to see Transformers because it starred transforming vehicle robots. They watched the first 2 mostly because Megan Fox was in it.
Mm-hmm. No, the truth is,
I was definitely there for the robots.
Yeah, we all wanted to hear Peter Cullen do Optimus Prime.
And we did. It was great.
Yep.
Continued to rule in that role.
And
when he dies, man, the fan, there's going to be like a wave of just horrified, sad fans.
Well, now that he was also the voice of Tom on Toonami.
He was Tom? No.
Yeah.
Really?
He was.
I'm calling you a liar. I don't believe I'm looking it up right now.
Ironcaster, of course,
was Tom.
Doesn't have his most iconic role, which was he was Venger in the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Okay, it says here that Steve Blum did the voice for him, which is Spike from Cowboy Bebop.
Oh no, he was the intro guy.
Oh, okay. So, maybe I'll give you that one. Who voiced the intro?
And Frank Welker is another big one. Who's if when he passes, it's going to be a really sad day.
Okay.
I'm looking over the Peter Cullen's movies listing. Apparently, he did some voice work for a lot of Winnie the Pooh movies.
Oh yeah,
I think he was Pooh.
Patty's wanting to join us tonight. I hope he makes it. Speaking of Robert Kirkman, I remember I'm actually rewatching The Walking Dead, all the way from season 1. I'm all the way into season 4 now. And I remember when I first read the comic book, it was originally, Robert Kirkman doing the writing, but the artwork was by Tony Moore. Man, that artwork was really good. And then when they brought the rest of the series continued on with an artist named Charlie Adlard, who I'd never heard of, and his style was so dramatically different from Tony Moore that I remember going, "This book looks like shit."
Yeah, I hate when they do that. I had that experience reading Sandman, but kind of in reverse. The initial guy they got to do it was the guy who did the Max. I can't remember his name; it's escaping me at the moment.
Sam,
Sam
something
or other. But like, yeah, no, he's a fantastic artist who I really love, but I did not love him on Sandman. Like that first few issues, I was like, ooh, this art is not working for me. But after that, they got a revolving set of different artists, and generally they were good. The very final artist they got to work on it was kind of garbage, but yeah, for the most part, I think that they got pretty good artists back then.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, even though The Walking Dead changed artists and it stuck with Charlie Adlard throughout the rest of the entire run from,
Sam
all the way through. Is it Sam Keith?
Sam Keith, that's the guy. And I really generally love Sam Keith's artwork, but man, it was a mismatch there.
Mm-hmm. But after a while, I got used to Charlie Adlard, and I don't feel quite so bad about seeing his artwork because I'm comfortable with it. We've had so many issues of it now, but
oh yeah, he's got kind of a Mike Mignola energy to his stuff.
That's not what I would call it, but
I'm looking at the black and white stuff, and it has that same like nice striking effect that Mike always gets with his stuff.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I mean that's fair.
The full color stuff kind of loses the starkness. It makes it too soft.
I think so.
Well, he kind of struggles the same way Frank Miller struggles with color. Like Frank Miller's comics are amazing in black and white or watercolor, but the second they start using those like poppy flat comic colors,
Hey, we got Daniel back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm on my phone today, and it's decided to be a little pain in the ass, so I had to reset it.
You and Castor are apparently sharing the same phone wavelength or something, because Castor just went poof.
Yeah, that and we ain't popping at least.
Just got motorcycles passing by. But
that's right, motorcycles going by, but no mic popping.
Yep.
Yeah, that mic does sound nice and smooth.
Yep. But anyway, I've got some news. Since we are talking about animation, I might as well go ahead and pop my news. So, we have some official confirmation now that 2026 is going to be the new Fist of the North Star.
Hell yeah.
Drag.
Hell yeah.
We need like a with Geek show like drinking contest list or something at this point.
You'll get alcohol poisoning.
It's like take a full down your drink at whenever the Hunter Runes Everything's Long plays, a shot every time Fist of the North Star gets mentioned.
Well, I mean,
hey, I've got amazing anime news myself.
Oh
yeah.
Don't tell me it's not MD Geist related again, is it?
It is indefinitely, and you already know what it is because we talked about it in chat, and it is 100% MD Geist related.
Well, let me finish with this. So
that is the people's ass right there. Mwah.
It is. It is. I do not know if this is going to be what the entire animation art style looks like. This is directly from the Fist of the North Star page in Japan, and they have announced that it's going to be a 2026 release date. I don't have any details on what arcs it's going to cover or if there's going to be new material added or who is working on it or anything. All I know is, I mean, I'm excited, man. I want to,
there's nothing they could do that I wouldn't love, right? If they do a retread of the original story, that'd be great. I'm in for it. They do brand new stuff, cool. Let's rock. You gotta love Ken and his epic journey. Yeah.
Don't get excited. I'm warning you. You're going to find out that this is a joint Disney-Amazon venture.
Nah, I don't think so.
It does look a little scrawny in comparison to previous animes I've seen with this. They had to Professor North Star in.
No, he's always looked this way. In fact,
that's exactly what Kenshiro looks like. I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's Tetsuo Hara artwork right there. That's the guy who actually made the character.
I just remember him looking a little bit beefier than that. from what was one of the older shows. I remember version of it. I remember watching one time.
Well, he's not all, raged out and stuff where he's bigger.
Yeah, this is baseline Kin. Before the Hakudo no Kin, takes him and he becomes a furious tiger of justice and destruction.
Mm-hmm.
I always loved how he walks around looking like Ronnie Coleman when he's not beefed up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing with him. He's literally like the walking personification of walk softly and carry a big fist.
Dude's back has the freaking Central Park Christmas tree on.
Yeah, I mean,
the lats that are 14 miles wide.
Uh-huh. And then he gets bigger.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, oh look, it's Mr. Olympia, and then it's like, oh, it's double Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, it's like just when we thought we couldn't get bigger, we got bigger. But yeah, 2026. This is from their official page. I didn't put that anime coming in 2026 on there. That was already there. I just downloaded it from their page, and so yeah, that's the official word, man.
I love his well drawn pockets. Look at this.
I really hope that they will stick to this kind of artwork and keep it this way. I don't want them to do what they did with Fist of the Blue Sky and do everything in CG.
Yeah, not a CG fan.
No. Just stick to the traditional cell art, make it look good, make it look like the OVAs, because the OVAs were beautiful.
The OVAs were fantastic. Yeah, if I can't see the blood of the Japanese animators blended unskillfully into the painted backgrounds, it's just not drawn well enough.
Mm-hmm. And I still remember how horrible the Berserk seasons were, which I don't know if we're getting another one of those or not.
Those were such a tragedy. Like, after watching the OVAs for the Golden Age arc and then comparing them to the terrible, clunky, like RWBY looking CG they did, like, oh my god, what an absolute tragedy.
I know. They better not do that to Fist of the North Star. They can't, because that's too much of a legendary property.
Yeah, there will be a mini quests for vengeance if that happens.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
Star Wars.
Speaking of which, Joel, have you seen my Shin video that I put up?
I did, actually. I shared it on my Discord. The Fist of Earth.
What'd you think?
It's beautiful. I mean, like, I'm in the business of Fist of the North Star knockoffs, so it's good to have more competition.
Now, I don't plan on doing videos on all the minor character. Well, the guys I consider to be minor, which is like I don't want to do one on Jackal or Fox or the Colonel or even Bask or any of those guys. But all the major guys, all the major Nanto and major Hokuto guys, and then some of the other ones like Falco, I've got to do. So I'm trying to take them in order, and then the next one is going to be even bigger than this one, because the next one I'm going to tackle is Ray, and everybody loves Ray.
Ray deserves to have his own little one, though. Like, he's such an important character. Honestly, I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes when it comes to, like, picking and choosing. I kind of had to do that whenever I was writing Kung Fu's. I was like, which ones? Yeah, very, very nice. But yeah, like, which ones of these am I going to translate? Like, I mean, clearly you're going to do Ray, right? But like, I know you might just consider doing some of the more iconic villains too. Like,
I will.
Like Souther definitely deserves his own little.
Souther's going to get his own video. I've already got it. I've got it planned, but I'm going down the line. So I didn't want to start with I didn't want to start with Kenshido because he's got way too much story to start you out on. And it's kind of like, well, if I start with Kenshido, I've pretty much told you the entire story and you won't watch the other ones.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And if you want Kin's story, just watch Fist of the North Star, right? Like,
yeah,
we've got that covered.
Mm-hmm. But Shin was the first one, then it'll be Rei, and then it'll be your boy Jagi.
Hell yeah.
And then it'll be my favorite, Toki. And then it'll be Toki has always been my favorite. And then it'll be Yuda, who is another favorite of mine, actually. And then it'll be Souther. I'm saving Rao for just like right before Ken, because it's kind of like he's another one of those guys that's, if you tell Rao's story, you're pretty much giving away so much of the plot. But I'm also going to include all the little chariot guys like Juza and Fudo.
Oh, that's cool.
Although, I don't know what I'm going to do about Huey, because you really don't know much about him. It's like Huey just kind of shows up as like, "Hi, I'm Huey, of the wind, and I'm here to defeat you, Rao." And it's kind of like he does 2 moves, and then Rao just kicks the shit out of him, and it's like, it's done.
Yeah, I like that. I still like that battle, though. I like that there's like little minor clans and like people that sort of don't matter in the grand scheme of things that are still like the inheritors of these ancient martial legacies. That there's something really kind of it's such a wonderful flavor that's brought to the whole enterprise due to things like that.
I mean, it's so weird what the balance is between Hokuto and Nanto, and people have been commenting on it. It's because it's like Hokuto is so powerful.
It's unreal, right? It's the protagonist power.
It's like the Nanto guys don't stand a chance against him.
Not really. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. I feel like Nanto is one of those things where initially it seems like this overwhelming force, and then when you actually like, whenever Ken kind of internalizes what his martial art is about and goes on his quest for vengeance and has something behind his moves, like all of a sudden it's just revealed to be this total paper tiger comparatively. And I don't know. I don't know if that's because he's more motivated as the series goes on, and so like what we're really seeing is like the virtue behind the move, which is giving it its power, or if it really is just because Hokuto is just on a completely different level. Because Rao is an unbelievable villain, right? And he's like, so it has to be the style, right? It can't just be the drive. But then again, Rao's got a hell of a philosophy, so there's a lot to unpack with it. I could literally make the whole show about this. So you better stop me, dude.
I could too, but I will give you the one little secret, I think, of why Hokuto is so much more powerful than Nanto. And it's simple. It's because when you find out about how all the Nanto masters are based on different Chinese stars, like the Star of Justice, the Star of Martyrdom, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you hear all the prophecies and stuff like when the stars of Nanto are in disarray, Hokuto appears.
It really is like a celestial wheel turning thing.
Yeah, basically it was kind of like, you guys messed up, and this is fate taking place or taking you, because this is what was supposed to, or this is what was, you were warned this was going to happen. You made it happen when you betrayed Nanto and everything else. So this is Hokuto coming to go clean your house like we predicted was going to happen. And that's literally what happens.
Yeah, and it might just be one of those things where like Hokuto might be very specifically designed to be like a counter to the style. Like maybe Nanto's got the better pedigree, but it's like Hokuto's like been designed. That's because it's super big in Wuxia, right? There's always like this super style or super move, and then someone makes the exact perfect counter to it. It might be something like that.
Well, they were originally framed as opposites.
Well, and equals too. Like that's how it's pitched to us at first. It's like opposite but equal. They have to be in balance. But man, as soon as the balance goes out of whack, Hokuto completely just mops the floor with them utterly. So yeah,
there's a lot to dig into it. I mean, it's like, we could do a whole show on it, but
again, I will talk forever if you let me.
I know. But anyway, that's my big news is Hokuto no Ken coming in 2026. I'm super duper pumped. I do not know if it is going to be simultaneous Japanese and US release. I hope to hell it is, and I hope to hell it is not on Crunchyroll. I hope it is on a different. Well, actually, Amazon is picking up quite a bit of anime now, so I wouldn't mind seeing it on Amazon. I wouldn't mind seeing it on High Dive, but just something besides Crunchyroll, because I feel like Crunchyroll is too safe.
I haven't had Crunchyroll in a little while. I'm mostly just buy the Blu-rays of the anime I actually want to watch.
But Crunchyroll is behind that too, though.
A lot of them, yeah. Although, man, I got to tell you, a lot of the early dubs from them are pretty rough. They seem to have gotten better at it recently, but yeah.
because they got the Japanese up their ass going, if you don't translate what is coming out of our mouth correctly, we're going to pull all of our stuff from you.
Well, it's not even that it's incorrectly translated. I'm just talking about the actors. Like, for example, and I don't want to derail this conversation entirely, but one good example would be very elucidating. I was watching Soul Eater recently, which I watched initially on Netflix, like back in the day. And I watched the English dub because, you know, I'm a brown-eyed gaijin. I don't care, whatever. You know, and I thought the voice actress did a fine job. And just by chance, I happened to just curiosity, like through about the middle of one of the episodes, I switched it over, and I was floored by how much better the Japanese actors were than the American ones. It was unbelievable how much more appropriate they were for the characters. How just they added a whole different like range of to the roles. Like Maka is my girl in that show. I love her so much. I love her big sickle. I just think she's cool. I love her character design, and like she's got a really like adorable, like cute girl voice in the dub, and then in the Japanese version, she sounds like a dweeb because she's a bookish nerd, which is exactly perfect. Like, why wouldn't they make Maka sound like that in the English dub? And I don't think it occurred to them. They were like, yeah, blonde teenager, girl voice, go.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, wow,
And
really?
that's the thing. It's like, you know, I don't watch stuff in the original Japanese with subtitles because I'm a snob. I do it because the voice actors sound better.
Generally,
yeah.
Not always. I mean, the Cowboy Bebop dub was pretty amazing. So, like, it varies dub to dub, but like, yeah, in general, I think that at least the Japanese actors have the benefit of like having direction on the script from the people that wrote it, who are also Japanese. So like their voices are pitched in a way that like is more appropriate for the characters.
JP says, personally, I prefer Blade of the Immortal to Fist of the North Star. I like Blade of the Immortal too, but not more.
Blade of the Immortal is really good. I mean, if you've got to have one that's first in your heart.
Joel, derail this conversation. This is like a train station for tangents. Let's get tickets on this express train of thought.
Well, just let shenanigans go. I'm okay, but all my power just flickered off, and they just came back on for like a split second there. So if anything happens, you know why.
Well, apparently it killed Ironcaster's entire power grid because, yeah, he's not back yet either. And everybody else seemed, you know, Das Wolfen and Daniel are both going, we don't watch enough anime to participate in this conversation.
Well, I did have a question that's along the same lines as the one that was that Joel just posted in chat.
What's that?
I've actually been holding on it for a second. I was like, when we got done with Fist of the North Star, I was going to ask this anyway. How do you feel about Shadow Skill?
I haven't watched that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
What?
One.
Yeah, you ain't watched Shadow Skill?
Check that out. Let's see, Shadow Skill.
Yeah, that's a kind of a, you know.
This is, when is this?
It's an old one, isn't it?
Yes, it's an old one. It's kind of like you know how Outlaw Star got kind of screwed over by the fact that it came out the same time as Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, that was criminal, dude.
I liked Outlaw Star better.
Love Outlaw Star. Love Outlaw Star. I like them differently for different reasons. I think they're both extremely incredible series. But
character models look like the guys from Aeon Flux. It's amazing.
I think that if I'm not mistaken, and I may be wrong on this, but I think Shadow Skill and Fist of the North Star kind of had a similar situation where, you know, it's like, man, this would have been great if it hadn't been around the same time as Fist of the North Star and everybody was busy watching that.
Yeah, and Ironcaster is right. He says Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop, and Trigun were a trinity of their own. Yeah, and the problem is you were competing between the three of them to watch them all, and it was kind of like, I can't. But
you know,
John, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, while I don't, I haven't watched any more than the original anime for Fist of the North Star. I did read the Blade of the Immortal manga.
Oh, good stuff.
And but my big one is Rurouni Kenshin.
Oh,
Rurouni Kenshin. Yeah,
that's my
classic.
I could never get into Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah,
I
watched movies.
It's one of those ones, like, if you get into it, like, if you find the place where you can kind of enter into it, it really is very rewarding. Rurouni Kenshin is beautiful, beautiful. I watched the anime, but, like, I'm sure the manga is amazing, too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's right though. 97 was a magical year for anime because we had so much good stuff back then. We had Key the Metal Idol. We had
Key was on the air. Jesus, I forgot about
yeah,
that.
that was a great series. I loved it. And man, going to my first A-Con was like such an eye opener. But wow. Well, let me see. What else do I have?
Incredible year. Gosh.
Yeah. Let's see. We did games. We did tons of game stuff. Did some anime. We did some comics news. There's some toy news, but Ironcaster's not on here to enjoy it, so it's kind of like,
I did see South Park start its 27th season July 9th.
Wow. Can you believe that? What's Simpsons up to now?
I don't even watch Simpsons.
I don't either, but it's got to be up to like almost 40 by now.
Oh my god.
You would think, yeah. I'm surprised South Park's been around for so long itself.
I remember when it first came out. My friend brought a whole videotape of it over because it was on Comedy Central, and he's like, "Dude, you got to watch this. You got to watch this." We sat down and we watched this, we watched, South Park the first season, and it was like 6 or 7 episodes, and I remember laughing my ass off through that whole thing. And just, I was kind of like, ooh, you got more? And then somewhere along the line, I just kind of lost interest in it.
Yeah, I fell off South Park, but you know what? I can still watch South Park and be entertained by it. Man, I haven't seen a Simpsons episode that gave me anything but a migraine for a long time.
Yeah, I'm not a Simpsons fan, but I was a Futurama fan.
Futurama is pretty good.
Yeah.
Their early seasons are especially good.
Yeah.
Simpsons basically died when they made Homer stupid.
The biggest problem with the Simpsons, no, it wasn't always. He was always stupid, but he was never like. He eventually got to be like too stupid. And really, the problem Simpsons has, and this does happen with a lot of shows and stuff, Simpsons became a mockery of itself. Is the problem? Yeah. It became so self-referential that it was essentially every Simpsons is just mockery of old Simpsons, and which was mockery of even older Simpsons.
Yeah, it's pretty. I think they call that Flanderization, where something just kind of loses everything but its most cartoonish and exaggerated attributes. It's kind of like that. Like, I remember I think it was season 8 or so, the one where Homer like climbs a mountain. They start doing this thing where they just say stuff and they pause on it like it's a joke, but it's not a joke. Like, I remember very specifically, this was the moment where I was like, I don't think this is ever going to be funny again. I was a child when this happened, but even still, I just had the awareness where I was like, oh, this is dead. So Homer's climbing this mountain and they're feeding him energy bars, right? To give him the energy to keep going. What's actually happening is they've hired 2 Sherpa guides to like drag him up the mountain while he sleeps. And then he wakes up and claims that he's done it because he's an idiot. And he keeps eating these bars. And eventually they're like, those are nothing but like the Sherpas are what is getting you to the top. Like it's not the energy bars. The energy bars are just sawdust and old Chinese newspaper clippings, right? And that's the joke.
You got
right?
that one. You got that one backwards. Which you're right about the energy bars. Mm-hmm. What happened was Homer, because I remember very distinctly. There's the scene where I very distinctly remember the part of it where Homer looks out and they're like, "You need to climb the murder horn," and he looks out. He's like, "Oh, that doesn't look so bad." And they're like, "No, that's the small mountain next to the murder horn, and it's like 10 times the size." What it was is Homer somehow got on with these damn energy bars, right? And he's like, was at the gym and stuff, and he's like, "I'm going to climb the murder horn." And then they're like, "This." He's like, he's finished. He's like, "Oh, if he's got the energy bars, he can make it work." He's like, "Those are just Chinese. Those are just sawdust and newspaper clippings."
Right. Okay. So that's a decent joke. And then right after that, he looks at the bar, and we don't see it, but he reads the headline that like some Chinese minister died. And he's like, "Oh, Shou Ping died," and it's like, and that wasn't a joke. That's just a statement. Like, why would Homer care about that or know who that is? That's not like, it's not even absurd humor. It's just like a complete non sequitur, and they pause on that as though that's the joke. And I was like, that dead air afterwards, that for me was the death rattle of The Simpsons. I was like, oh no, I'm never gonna laugh at this show again, and I never did. So that's the moment Simpsons died for me. Hope you all
that joke would have worked if instead of it being Chinese newspaper, it had been like just regular newspaper, and it had been like something like Duff Beer canceled a flavor or something. Then it would have made sense and been fun.
Here's the joke they should have written, right? It should have just been like old discarded Marmaduke clippings, and then he would have like giggled and said something irreverent about Marmaduke, and that would have been at least a joke. It wouldn't have been funny, but that's at least an actual joke. Just referencing that Homer read that a guy died. Well, does Homer read Chinese? Like, that's just the stupidest. It's not even a joke. Like, even on the most fundamental level, it fails as a joke. It's like an anti-joke. And man, it's. Oof. I'll never forget that.
I'm gonna be a dad.
The fuck's it got to do with me? I don't give a fuck.
So, anyway.
Beautiful.
I gotta cut in on this. Because we got some video game stuff that I want to show off before we go off. And so, yeah, if you've been checking out my channel, you know that I've been playing Spirit X Strike lately, which is pretty much Fist of the North Star with the serial numbers filed off.
Fuck yeah.
Heck yeah. I mean, it's just awesome. Sadly, it is still in early access, so it is not a complete game yet. And I don't know what it is with the Chinese releasing these incomplete games in early access and still making you pay for them. But I did pay for it, and I enjoyed it.
Watching us though, so I can't blame them.
Yeah, and I actually got some good footage out of it after I had to tweak my my system a little bit to get it to work at its best level. But let me see if I can bring something up here real quick.
I have to watch that.
Yeah, it only took you like 3 tries to get Foot of the South comment to post to the channel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know what
I'm calling it from now.
Why is that?
Why am I calling it Foot of the South China?
Yes,
or the South comment rather.
Yes,
because it's not Fist of the North Star; it's Foot of the South. The Foot of the South comment.
He uses his fists too. It depends on if you go into Tiger style or not.
Yeah, but serial numbers filed off. It's Fist of the North, no copyright claim.
Pretty much. It's Chinese, of course.
Speaking of Futurama, we resemble but are legally distinct from.
I mean, it's got all the same beats as all the Fist of the North Star games. The music sounds almost identical to the Ken's Rage games. It's just, a different system, different setup, different style, but you still get that same whole Fist of the North Star feeling about it with all the same bosses and taking out hordes of enemies. And it's
beautiful.
Pretty awesome.
A lot of fun to play too. Like, how's the actual gameplay? Like, how does it feel?
It feels really good. The only problem is it's very short. They only have 5 levels right now, so you have to deal with that.
I would honestly rather have 5 levels that play smooth and look good, and maybe have to come out with them later than for them to release 20 levels and I have to wait for the DLC for the game to be freaking playable.
That is true, but the game you really want to play, especially if you're a Resident Evil fan, while you're waiting on a Resident Evil, is this one. It's also from China. This is called The Killing Antidote, and it is basically, yeah, it is already it's pretty much Resident Evil with the serial numbers filed off.
But you get to play a Playboy Bunny?
Well, no, that's just what I've got her dressed in, because the deal is you can customize your main character. It's a female named Jodie, but you can pretty much make her up to look the way you want and dress her up.
Giving her shoes, at least. Poor thing.
I didn't have good shoes, so I didn't want to put them on. But I did have the nice bunny thing that looked cute, so that's what I wore. I mean, come on now.
Look at all the broken concrete you're making her walk on. No wonder she's all upset.
It's not so bad. Anyway.
It's not so bad.
Let's get to some zombie killing stuff here, shall we? Yeah, right now it just looks like walking simulator and picking up simulator. So there we go. Right behind this door.
Anyway.
Yeah, this game is lots of fun. It's almost finished, but it also is not complete. But it's got a lot of bonus modes and things. Oh yeah.
Oh. Good thing he was wearing his helmet.
Sick.
Didn't save him though, did it?
It's got that good wet splatter sound.
Uh-huh. Yeah, when you hit somebody, it sounds meaty.
I love the heavy, belabored zombie breathing. That's great.
Oh, yeah. Let's see, what else? Scoot it up a little bit. I pick up a lot of stuff. Yeah, I switched over to my assault rifle because it's more accurate.
The little plap of her unshoed feet on the ground is so pitiful. It makes me so sad.
It's so clicky whenever she's in her heels.
Well, she should wear heels then.
Yeah, this part was fun.
Man, you're like the headshot emperor, dude.
I'm really good at that. Just years and years of playing Resident Evil.
Synchronized.
Look at that. Not shot. He's not going down.
Christ. Let them die. It's brutal.
Man has no crotch, but he's still going.
It's like, stop! He's already dead!
I think it's telling that we are still quoting the first few seasons of The Simpsons. Like, they've had, what, 20-odd years since then? And there's, like, nothing quotable from them at all.
I looked it up. They have the total currently of 36 seasons.
Jeez, I knew it was close to 40, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, here we go. This is fun. It's like, you know something bad's coming through this.
So it's just zombies or are there weird monsters? Like in
There's all kinds of weird monsters in this. There's chase scenes and everything. It's a really good game.
It's an excellent chord. They got the numbers just right. That guy was motivated.
Oh yeah, he was. That was a different kind of critter. That was called a maniac.
He was dancing like he never danced before.
Yeah, well, you see they run at you, so it's like usually I prioritize those guys.
This is the methodical zombie slaughtering.
Man, look at all the jibs, man.
I knew I had to be that word.
All the giblets.
Reminds me of playing Quake.
Yeah, kinda. But
hey guys, what's going on?
I had fun with this one. Watch.
Oh damn, dude!
Yeah, midair.
Vaporized him.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was already dead. I just.
Wait, where did she get that? She got a clip out of somewhere there. There were no pockets.
Normally there's a backpack option you can wear, but I usually choose not to wear it just because, it might get in the way of those buns.
I got the poor girl store ammo in her thong.
Yeah, there's a couple of good Steam games out of China right there you can play right now because it's a Steam summer sale going on.
Oh, it is the summer sale. Damn, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, exactly. You should be buying games. And there's more coming, but I'm not going to spend all night showing you every single advertisement, but I will show you this one just because I know Ironcaster is going to feel bad if he doesn't get to see this. But let me dig it up here. I spent all this time downloading all these videos to show off on the channel, and it's kind of like, well, maybe we'll get to watch them all.
The male gaze has entered the chat.
Male gaze has entered the chat. Yes, it has.
We're a bunch of progressive feminists here. God, I was complaining about the shoe situation.
Yeah, he was. He was complaining about the shoe situation.
I'm just like a real feminist. I complain about everything.
There you go. Oh, okay, where'd I put it?
My Discord's gonna be so mad at me for that joke.
Here we go. Yes. Cyborg employees. That's gonna be well, it's not gonna be us. That's gonna be like our children.
I feel very seen by this this scenario.
Yep. This is not out yet. This is coming, but I want to play this so bad. she's got an arm that is a Gatling gun, and the other one is a chainsaw.
A banger of an intro song too.
It is, isn't it? Ironcasher's gonna be sad he missed this. We might get copyright claim for this.
This is what I wanted Ruby to be so bad. Like, seriously, they had one job.
Well, okay, Joel. Now that you've seen this, you got some more writing to do on Fist and Acid, or Blood and Acid.
Acid and Steel, baby.
Acid and Steel. Acid and Steel, yes.
I'm getting a lot of feedback on the robot rules recently, so yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I mean, I misread that for a second there. I thought, it says D3 Publisher Inc. and for the publisher, and I missed the D3 at the beginning. I just kind of glanced over, and it was like Publisher Inc. I'm like, these Chinese companies aren't even trying anymore. Publisher Inc. Seriously?
I mean, what can you say? It's kind of like
Corporation Incorporated, yeah.
But yeah, Joel, if I can't have a robot chick running around with like a chainsword for an arm and a minigun for the other one in your game, I'm gonna feel bad. So
I
make that happen.
I actually have both of those already, so I think we're good. You can also have Go-Go Gadget limbs. So
sweet.
There's 4 paradigms total. Plus, I got to design at least one more for one of the backers, so it's whatever they design too. But yeah, I had a. Figuring out that many independent, unique robot powers has been very challenging. Currently, I am down by 1. I need 1 additional one, and I've thought of like almost all of them. So I'm a little puzzled. But yeah.
Well, I figure you already have the combination mecha, right?
Yep.
Okay, I figured that was an easy one.
Yeah, no, that one wrote itself. So some of them are just like the whole owl form, the head power is like, yeah, no, I didn't have to think about that too hard.
Yeah. I can't wait to see that book.
It's gonna be good, bro. Well, actually, for $2 a month, I've got a Patreon. You get updates constantly. So right now, I think they've got the authoritarian like Judge Dredd / RoboCop robots on there. So and the core robots too. So all the Terminator 2 stuff, Armitage the Third stuff, all that's on there as well.
Hey, JP, you stop that. Warhammer.
Hey,
He's talking about Warhammer.
Hey, Warhammer's good. Just understand that like Warhammer is a pastiche of like all of the things that inspired it. So it's like it's Dune and it's like the Road Warrior and blah blah. Like all that stuff is already in Warhammer. So you can't just be like, oh, Warhammer did all this. Well, no, everything else became Warhammer, and then it also inspired other things. Like that's how creativity works.
That's what I always say about Fist of the North Star. It came first, and it inspired all this other stuff. So,
well, technically, the Road Warrior came first and inspired Fist of the North Star. So,
actually, okay. The truth is, the original Fist of the North Star was going to be Kenshido was a high school student who was also an assassin, and trained in assassination arts, and he was fighting against like a criminal syndicate type thing.
That's rad.
Yeah, but it was. Yeah, when they brought Buranson on to write, he's the one who gave it the post-apocalyptic setting and kind of made it a little bit more visceral. And that was because he was over in Cambodia during the Pol Pot thing, and he got to see the kind of stuff that was going on over there, and it really affected the writing. That's why Fist of the North Star kind of ended up as dark as it did.
I could definitely see being angry at jerks like Pol Pot and then like making them the villain over and over again and then just making them die in hideous ways. Like, yeah. Well, think about Fist of the North Star for a second. Like that is Fist of the North Star. Is like, what if there was a kung fu demigod who just killed Pol Pot over and over again? Yep,
I mean, Fist of
the North Star.
He's the kind of man who he's a doctor and he's an assassin. He's the kind of guy who will, bring you back from the dead just so he can kill you again and again and again.
and that's where we got Dr. McNinja from. So
there you go. There you go. All right, guys. Well, we've had a lively episode, even without Ironcaster the whole time. But I think it's time to go ahead and hang it up for the night. What do you guys say?
Sounds like a winner.
All right, John, you got anything to add, or no?
I was muted.
You were muted.
Were you interjecting like really clever things this whole time? Oh man, we missed out.
He was cutting up and everything, and he was wondering why we weren't laughing at him. And
well, I just I don't remember what I said now, so I.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's in the ether.
Just aren't landing.
Yep. It's just
stillborn action.
There's always Saturday.
I'll 3 o'clock in the morning and remember what I said.
Well, write it down and we'll post it.
Yeah. No, write it down and save it, because there's always Saturday, and Saturday should be fun, because we've still got lots of stuff that we didn't cover tonight that we will on Saturday, and plus there's the rest of the week. You never know what kind of crap is going to happen between, today and next week. But
yeah,
I thought I would leave you with this one little funny thing before we go, just to remind you that this is going to be a thing.
And the way I was using to make able to put this. Wait a minute. That took me a second.
I really can't wait to see this. It's a long ways off. But I still think it's going to be great. Anyway. All right, everybody out there in YouTube land, y'all take care, and we will see you Saturday for the Weekend Geek.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, have a great night. Have a great week.
Have a most dangerous week.
I didn't ruin anything this time.
No, you didn't. You did good, Hunter. Good job.
This time.
Try and keep all your fingers this Friday.
Yes.